Here's a fact. Older men fail with younger women, not because they necessarily lack confidence, but because they're using a dating strategy designed for men in their 20s. Confidence alone is not enough when there's a big age gap. In this video, I'm going to show you 7 rules that if you follow will significantly increase your odds of being able to date younger women and not come off as creepy. Rule 1, you must look good physically. If you're a guy in your 20s or even early 30s, being in good shape is not that impressive. Most people are in good shape. If you're a guy in your 40s and 50s, being in good shape makes you stand out massively. Unfortunately, most men let themselves go as they age. So if you're an older guy, but you're lean, muscular, and clearly take good care of yourself, that's going to immediately separate you from the competition. This is also why a lot of males date younger guys. It's because they're attracted to athletic bodies, which they rarely get from guys their own age. Younger women are no different. I actually tested this in a previous video when I created a Bumble account for my dad. My dad is in his mid-50s, horribly balding, yet he got over 100 likes in 48 hours. Why? Well, it's because he's in better shape than 99% of men his age. So, what does this mean in practice for you? Well, simply put, you need to be in good shape. That means having a flat stomach, a decent amount of upper body muscle, especially if you're going for women in their 20s. You have to go to the gym, you have to eat healthy, and you have to avoid looking soft. Also, quick hack, make sure you get testosterone levels checked. A lot of men over 30 nowadays have low T, which makes losing fat and putting on muscle a lot harder than it needs to be, if not impossible. And also, for the love of God, avoid the old man haircut. You know the one I'm talking about. Thinning hair, messy beard, zero effort. That means you need to go to the barber at least once every 3 weeks. Get yourself a good fade, or if you're really losing hair, then just completely shave it all off. Also, make sure your beard is not messy. That's gonna make you look a lot older. Either get it neatly trimmed, or you can go completely clean shave it. Generally speaking, you wanna look like you're vigorous, you're full of energy in life, and you're well put together. Not like you gave up on yourself 20 years ago after the divorce. Rule number 2, develop actual attractive qualities. Younger women do not date older men for their vibes alone like they typically do with guys their age. They typically date older men for the lifestyle, for their experience, and their stability. Money can definitely help, sure, but you don't actually need to be rich to date younger women. But you do need to have some other things going for you, having other attractive qualities besides just confidence. The most common one is a cool lifestyle. For example, traveling around the world, having access to cool events, parties, and people, or just being well accomplished. For instance, the well-renowned journalist might not necessarily be rich, but he can still be very attractive to women in that world because of his accomplishments. Younger guys can get away with having nothing going on besides their confidence. Older guys can't. And if you don't have any attractive qualities, aside from, for example, your riz, then you need to work on developing them if you're serious about dating younger women. Rule number 3, get really good photos. Most men in general have horrible dating photos, but older guys are even worse. But that is good news for you because it means standing out is going to be incredibly easy. Your competition isn't some hot 23-year-old, it's a clueless, lazy older guy who has terrible pics. Great pics on your dating profile and social media instantly put you ahead. So this means in essence, you have to either get a professional photo shoot with a quality photographer who has experience taking dating photos. Unfortunately, most of them are horrible at this, or get ultra realistic AI photos. If you ask me, I recommend a service called UnrealPhotos. I will link them in the description. Also, if you want to have a deeper dive and really understand what makes a great dating photo, see some examples, I will link a video that gives you a detailed breakdown in the description. Rule number 4, focus on warm environments. The larger the age gap, the more social proof matters. Younger women are going to be far more open to meeting older guys when it's in a warm environment like a party, an event, through work, through friends, that sort of thing. That's how the majority of the older guys who are dating younger women met them. You do not have the luxury of being a loner like a younger guy might. You need to develop a social life, you need to build connections, especially with interesting people who do high value things. Now, don't get me wrong, cold approach can still absolutely work, especially if you're younger than 50 and you look pretty good for your age, but the older you become, the more important warm environments are. Plus, you don't want to be that random creepy grandpa who's spam approaching every college girl. Rule number 5, delay sexualization. As you guys know, I'm a big fan on this channel about sexualizing conversations pretty early on, but if you're an older guy going for younger women, that rule changes. Why? Well, it's because it's a lot easier to come off creepy when there's a big age gap, and you need to tread carefully in the beginning to avoid that. The solution is to first start off by building some comfort and attraction. Let the girl discover some of your attractive qualities first. Now, ultimately, of course, you still need to sexualize, but you're going to delay that a little bit in this situation. Unless, of course, the girl is giving you very obvious fuck me eyes. In that case, you can do whatever you want. Rule number 6, play into the 50 Shades of Grey fantasy. This book and others like it are literally the best thing that's happened for older men. As a result, a lot of younger women have this fantasy about charming, experienced, dominant older guy. And you should definitely lean into that. And that starts with presentation. For example, a very common first date for me is telling the girl, hey, let's take my dog for a walk, and then inviting her upstairs for a bottle of wine, right? And that works really, really well. However, if I was an older guy going for younger girls, that wouldn't really be a good option. Instead, I want to take the girl somewhere nicer. Again, not a restaurant, but an upscale bar or a lounge or something like that. Another fun fact about me, I'm extremely messy. But again, if I was an older guy going for a younger girl, that wouldn't really be a good look because it would completely destroy the fantasy she has of an older guy who has his shit together. In general, you need to look like you have his shit together. Fashion, grooming, demeanor, all that matters even more if you're an older guy. You might not be Christian Grey style rich, but it doesn't mean you can't come off as a dominant, polished, and high value older guy. Rule number 7. Learn text game. Anyone who texts with their parents knows that older people usually have a borderline autistic style of texting. They either respond to everything with just okay, or they send way too many memes or videos they think are real but 100% AI. And let's not even talk about their terrible emoji choices. And here's the reality in 2026. You cannot avoid texting, especially if you're going for younger women. Phone calls alone won't cut it. Half of Gen Z doesn't even know you could do those. You need to learn pretty solid text game. Fortunately, on this channel, you have multiple videos, even playlists that are going to teach you how to do exactly that. Or you can just let my AI app do it for you. It's called FireTexts, and it helps you generate the perfect text in every possible situation. You can download and try it for free. Link is going to be description. And here's one more tip that might be a bit controversial. iPhones are objectively better for dating than Android. When a girl sees a blue bubble, it kind of builds trust. When she sees a green bubble, especially if she's younger and she has an iPhone, has had one all her life, she thinks, what's wrong with this guy? Is he like weird or something? It's kind of stupid. It's not really logical, but that's just how it works. So those are the 7 rules that are most important for older guys to succeed with younger women. But I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comments what you think is the most important factor for older men to succeed with younger ladies. I really do read those.